Perfect. Okay, so I don't even think I introduced myself to I'm Jenica. This is Arvid. And we're gonna be doing prenatal yoga for like 25, 26 weeks when you're having a little bit of right side pain and you want a little bit of movement, you want to accomplish something today. Now, this is a live class, so if you have anything that doesn't feel good or you can't hear me or understand, just unmute yourself and say something because this is for you. I guess if you're watching this afterwards, benefit from these ladies that may chime in. All right, so to start our yoga class, we will check in with our body by doing a body scan. So ideally standing up, taking our weight, and maybe coming forward towards our toes and then backwards towards our heels. And just feeling where we're at today, what our body is telling us, using this brief introduction to just get in tune with us. After you move your weight forward and backward a few times, if it feels okay to lift your toes and then bring them back down, just to see where your center of balance is. And then last but not least, with our feet, we can go side to side. Now, a lot of times asymmetrical imbalances, and myself included, when I get pain on my right side. It's usually how our body decides to carry our weight. So during this practice, we're going to try to bring awareness to that. I know even when I'm like cooking dinner, I'm usually my hips stuck out on one side and I have to remind myself to even it out. So as you're, paying attention to your feet, are you leaning on one side more than the other? Can you balance it out? And sometimes the habits we do every day, we can't notice until we go the opposite way and see how that feels. Like if I go towards my left foot, is that working a little harder? Can I even myself out? So as we continue to build up the body, keep that evenness, that balance in mind. So when we bring it to our knees and make some little knee circles. So the idea here is first, we're just going to move. And then we're going to slow it down and try to find that center point, the point where both feet are working evenly, and sometimes it takes a little right and left, front and back to feel it. And then once you got it, especially if for people like me that I'm not always even, I usually feel different muscles in my legs firing, which I know is a good thing. That those probably need to fire more often to prevent pain in the future. So that's good. As we work up to our hips, we'll circle it around. Nice and gentle, giving baby a little ride. And if there is a tender spot and it feels good to stretch it a little longer, if you want to lean into it, you can. Ideally, you're bringing breath into this movement. So you're inhaling and exhaling to help move your body around, bending the knees to protect the lower spine. And then reversing that motion just to make sure we get to go in both directions. Lovely. And then re-find your center. So even if you got to redo your feet, get a little taller, we get set in our ways and then we start to get pregnant and the baby starts to grow, right? And so now the body has to compensate and the awareness alone is going to help. So bringing back to our awareness. We're going to check in with our pelvis. So with our hands on our hips, we'll do a couple tilts here. So here's your pelvis, right? This is your tailbone. This is the front side of it. And now it's facing like me. And during pregnancy, sometimes to compensate, it'll either come a little forward, maybe a little backward, maybe it'll get a little cockeyed depending on how baby's sitting. And that's the beauty of a pelvis, right? All motion, it kind of derives from the pelvis, from the spine to our limbs, right? It connects us. But during pregnancy, when it's getting used to it, we want to bring awareness to it so that we can find the spot that doesn't cause any discomfort, that supports our baby and supports our legs. So as you bring your hands to your hips and you give yourself some pelvic tilts, you bring that pelvis in, you stick your booty out, you bring it in, you find your center, you find that place that speaks to you that says, oh, that feels actually a little better. I didn't realize I was either stuck there or hanging out in a spot that didn't serve me. So after you give yourself a couple pelvic tilts, roll it around, reverse, and find your center once again. And I notice I keep going back to my right side. I tend to put more weight on my right. My babies tend to be on my right side, probably because helping gravity. So I got to remind myself, oh, coming back. Here we go. Use my left foot too. Let's inhale. Let's grow tall here. And then exhale. Bring it down. So now we're going to add a little more breath as we continue to work up our body. Yeah, we're going to work it out. And one more big inhale. And big exhale. And this time now just take one hand up, reach to the sky, reach as high as you can reach. And then bending the knees, create a little space for baby. So on that right side of the body or left, depending on which direction you chose first. So you first get tall, inhale, and then exhale, get a little space. And we're not trying to go to our edge here. All we're doing is trying to create space on our side bodies with our arm. On the exhale, roll that arm back. Give yourself a couple back strokes on each side. And then just pause here. Come back to your center, what we've built from the ground up. And we just stretched, one side of your body. Do you notice any difference? And it's absolutely okay if there's no difference. And it's okay if there is. Just spend a little time to listen to your body and to hear what it's telling you as you just have done a few super gentle movements. Let's even it out. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, release. And this time, inhale, just like we did, but now the other side, we're going to reach that hand up. So first we're going to get tall, and then exhale, we're going to open. Now the idea here, when you have asymmetrical imbalances, like when one side is tighter than the other, or you're experiencing pain in the other side, usually we tend to stretch out the side that's looser more, and the side that's not, we don't. And that creates further imbalances. So as we do things on one side and then the other, try to keep in mind to start with your tight side and then only go that far with your more, loose side. So you want to go the same place for each one. Exhale, bring it down. And it's not like, I don't always remember, but when I do, I usually feel more balanced when I finish my practice. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. One more time. Big inhale up. Exhale, over. Okay, so now coming back to our posture, rocking up and back, right? Feeling into the side, feeling where our center is. And once we got it, let's move on to our shoulders, right? So roll the shoulders back. Nice and gentle, nice and smooth. And then take them forward. So just giving a little more movement. If you've been sitting or if you're on your phone a lot, I know I sometimes am. We need to open up this space. And then chin to your chest. Last but not least, check in with your neck. So ear to shoulder. Big inhale. Exhale, rotate. And bring it back. One breath, one side. Moving with your rhythm. Your breath. Your body. Nice. All right. I'd like you, I know you're at home, so if you can find a wall real quick. I think I've done this. I've done this before with some of my classes, but I think it's really nice when you're trying to understand how do you go about your day, in a better posture, so you kind of remove that pain. So the idea is you want to get your bum and your heels ideally and your shoulders on the wall. And this will tell you right away how your posture is. If your back is super concave, like you could fit like 3 fists behind here, step your feet forward, because that means you're probably over tilting your pelvis. And while you're going to try to eventually want your heels on the wall and to stick maybe one hand barely behind there where that curve is on your lower back. In the beginning, if that feels like it's causing your back to really concave, just step your feet out so you can relax the shoulders and the hips. And honestly, the first time I did this, I felt like I was falling backwards. I didn't know this is what straight felt like, but it's also a really good awareness as your belly grows to kind of check in with your posture. So there's a little space behind your back. And then if you want, you can inhale and you can raise your arms up. Ooh, and sometimes they're not going to go all the way up, so you bend your elbows right. And this is really, it's not, I wouldn't call it a test, but just such a great way to give yourself feedback at home and progress, because posture and breath, that's really what's going to create an easier pregnancy, easier labor, easier recovery, are those two big things. Okay, so step away from the wall. That's your little yoga homework, if you will, is to kind of check in with that. We're going to take a big breath in, big inhale. And then exhale, bend the knees slightly. Place your hands on your thighs. Okay, so knees are slightly bent. You're pressing through both feet equally, right? We didn't lose that. Both, all 4 sides of the feet, if you can picture it, the ball of your foot, the heel, the inner arch, the outer arch, it's all pushing equally down, which is probably going to activate. I mean, this doesn't look like much, but I'm starting to feel it in my legs. Are you starting to feel it a little, Maytap, when you push through your feet equally?
Yeah, I do feel the heat on both of them.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
A good heat, yeah?
Yeah, good heat.
Okay, so then from here, now that we got our nice base, you can look up and roll your shoulders back while you hug baby in slightly, right? Baby's getting bigger, so we don't want to have him or her just fall, but we want to hug baby in. And then exhale, round the spine and stand all the way up. So you built a little heat and then you released it. Let's try that 2 more times. So bend the knees, inhale to lengthen the spine, bringing the shoulders back down towards your tailbone. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round all the way up. So now it's more of like a flow. Here we go. One more time. Inhale, get a little taller. Exhale, bend the knees. Start to extend the spine. Hugging baby in. We inhale to look up. And exhale, we roll all the way up. Nice. So now we are going to start to come down to our seated position, or use a ball or a chair. I think I'll probably use a chair today, because this is something else that you can work on, and that's seated. So if you have a ball, you can use a ball. If you just have a chair, put a pillow on so you can get those hips higher your than your knees, ideally, to sit up tall, right? And we'll just circle it out here, rolling it around. So sitting is something we do every day. And a lot of us tend to sit on our tailbone. So like I'm right now, I'm exaggerating this for you, but that's going to cause a problem. Others of us tend to, a lot of times we'll cross our legs, right? And we usually cross the same one all the time. So take note of your, idiosyncrasies and how you can balance that out through your day. Simply by just adding a little bit of movement like we're doing right now, whether you do a wall check or a couple hip circles, it's going to help bring awareness and balance you out. Nice. So then we're going to do, just because we want to build a little strength here and check in with our muscles, we are going to use the same technique of pushing through all sides of the foot. And ideally, we're going to stand up. Now, if you just push through the foot and you get that little strength, that glutes talk to you, the thighs, great. If you're on a ball, you might need a little stability with a chair, so you can just stand up and then sit back down. We're only going to do 2 of these. So the idea is you're building strength in your glutes, whether you don't even move off the chair or you actually push off and bringing it back down. And that's it. And then roll it around. And really, it's not, you don't have to like learn crazy new things to feel good in your body. You just have to bring awareness and give it a little time and patience, right? And sometimes it's just like the little things. Like I know from my mom, she had this crazy hip pain for years and she wasn't using her hamstrings. And so it was just by remembering for those muscles to work that all of a sudden things get easier. And so during pregnancy and just in general, our glutes sometimes shut off and they don't work. And so we have to remind them, even if you do stand up, can you stand up and think about your glutes? That's your bottom, right? Squeezing to lift you up using those big muscles. All right. Woo-wee. So as we kind of wind down this short practice together, I'd like to take the next few minutes to just kind of go inside, check in with you. So it's easier for me when I close my eyes, but you kind of got to decide what's going to be easy for you. If you need to get off the chair and lie down or come to a more comfortable position, you can. If you're more comfortable on the chair, you're good to go. Well, we'll start with just reconnecting with our breath in an intentional way, breathing to any of those spots that might be speaking to us. And then we may even try to breathe into the right side of our bodies, to bring the breath there with our mind and our breath, and let that flow. And then try the same to breathe into the left side of your body. And not that you can really, control the breath in that way, but simply by bringing your thought and your focus to that, you can definitely create different kinds of space. So for example, we can breathe so that down into our babies and maybe even take a hand to the baby. And we can also breathe into the right and left side of our ribs to make it expand. We can even think about breathing all the way down to our hips and our sit bones that support us in both sides. And we can think about breathing into our heart space, the space that I believe is exactly where I want to be and live as a mom and as a human on this earth to bring more love. We can breathe into that. And oh yes. As you're comfortably breathing and meditating on what your body is telling you right now that it needs, what your baby needs, I'll end with a really sweet version of a Tibetan prayer that one of my teachers taught me that I have tweaked slightly for prenatal yoga. And if you want to repeat after me, you can, either in your head or out loud. But it starts as, may we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we know the beauty of our own true nature. Yes. The beauty of it. The beauty of it. Yeah. May we be healed. And may we be a source of healing in this world. Yeah, should we say it one more time? Because it's important. And I say we because it's not only for us, all of us women here, but it's also for you and your baby. Right? May we be at peace. Yeah. May our hearts remain open. May we know the beauty of our own true nature. May we be healed. And may we be a source of healing in this world. And just like that, our time swept away. ever so quickly.
I,
No rush, but to
I
gently come back. Yeah. What
I
do you,
love the last line the most.
a source of healing in this world? I know, right? I know it.
We
Oh,
don't even know like which lives we touch on, and help sometimes it just that's so beautiful. Sometimes we don't even know. It's not consciously we do it.
oh no, I know. It's what I didn't realize from teaching all these classes is I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give back, I'm gonna do it, but I think I'm getting way more than you guys from the feedback and the energy. It's and then this kid keeps teaching me things like every class, like what I should pay attention to. Him sometimes, right? And
Yeah,
sometimes
he reacts. He reacts to some moves that you do, and I've been observing he has favorite because he gets really excited when you open your arms and put them down. Like he loves that move. Armin,
Hmm. Thank you, thank you. Let's
you
namaste
so
this class. It was
much.
so
Thank you
beautiful.
guys. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
And
Um,
yeah.